Do you believe Baker can be a franchise quarterback? And when I say franchise quarterback, I mean he could take his team to a Super Bowl.
I do. I don't necessarily believe in the phrase franchise quarterbacks. I believe in tiers of quarterbacks. I've said them before. You're either a quarterback your team wins because of, you're a quarterback your team wins with, you're a quarterback your team wins in spite of, or you're a quarterback that your team loses because of. I think Baker is a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with. I know that this season hasn't kind of evidenced that, but I would say to this. Number one, the injuries have to be a part of the conversation. A quarterback has a torn labrum in his left shoulder. He's also got foot, back, everything beat up injuries. Number two, there's only been really 1 year in Baker's career that he's been healthy with competency around him. There's been a lot of distractions this season. There's been a lot of disappointment, and the injuries have played its part. His rookie year, then his second year with Freddie Kitchens. Last year's the only year that he was healthy and there was competency around him, and you watched him lead his team to the playoffs and get a playoff win. So I think he could be that quarterback that they win with. I do not listen. There's about a handful of guys in the NFL that are quarterbacks you win because of. That more often than not, they are going to cover up whatever fundamental kind of franchise flaw that you have or injuries. And then there's 8 to 10 guys that are going to play really good football dependent upon who their play caller is and how healthy they are and how healthy the offensive line and pieces are around them. I think Baker can be in that 8 to 10 grouping. I think that's just the reality. Listen, I'll go back to last week's game, Molly, and I said this on Monday. The Browns offensively are a mess. And if you think Baker's at the top of that, you are not watching the same game as I am. Their offensive line did not play well. Their right tackle got hurt. Their left tackle played the worst game of his career as a Brown. Nobody is getting open on offense. There's no rhythm to it. So I ain't saying Baker's playing great. What I'm saying is Baker has proven that he could be a guy that you win a lot of games with.
Sometimes it's just bad because, y'all put me in a position, man, where I look so mean, and it's just not fair. I don't mind. I don't mind. I mean, listen. They call me the Grinch. They call me a lot of different things. It's all right.
I got big shoulders. I'm not scared of you being mean.
I'm a very happy Grinch. I tell you that much. I'm good. Let me say this to y'all, man. You know good and damn well Baker Mayfield ain't no damn Super Bowl quarterback. Why don't you stop that nonsense? You know he ain't leading no team to no Super Bowl, Dan Orlovsky. You know that. I'm going to be calm. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be very, very cool. Okay. He's not that dude. He's not that dude. When I pointed out that he had more progressive commercials than wins, I was factually correct.
This argument.
I was factually correct. When he changed up and he won games, I gave him credit for it. What I'm saying to you is this. Can he be a starting quarterback in this league? Yes. Can a team win with Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback? Okay. Can he be the reason, the thing that leads you to a Super Bowl championship? Hell no. That ain't him. That ain't him. Now, I understand you point left tackle, right tackle. We get all that. Barry, left tackle injury, right tackle was awful. I get all of that. I understand.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Give me a quarterback, a better than average quarterback, and tell them you got Kareem Hunt, you got Nick Chubb, you got Njoku, who, by the way, needed to make that play on his own last week to get the first down. To get the first down on his own. I understand that. There are certain plays. But what I'm saying is this. Here's the part that I have a problem with, because I know that you can seriously, I'm being serious, Dan. You could be on the board and you could highlight and dissect some of the things that go wrong, and I would never dispute that because you're excellent at that stuff. I just think you're a master at leaving certain things out. For example, they bring up that Baker Mayfield has had three coaches since he's been playing in the NFL. Well, whose fault was that? You had Hugh Jackson. Obviously, we ain't going to brag about his record. You insisted on Freddie Kitchens, and management stupidly went with your rookie novice self and your opinion at the time, being Baker Mayfield. They should have ignored his behind and brought in, whether it's Kevin Stefanski or somebody else earlier. There should have never been a Freddie Kitchens experiment. Then you get, obviously, Kevin Stefanski, who did a hell of a job last year. This year, not so much, albeit due to injuries, and injuries legitimately to Baker Mayfield. We talk about Odell Beckham Jr. being gone. We lamented the relationship that existed between Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield on the field. Baker Mayfield harbors no responsibility for that. We see receivers not being open. We didn't always say that about them. They were open before when Baker Mayfield was completing, what was it here? 59% of his passes his second year, 62% of his passes last year, 62% now. We weren't saying that then. Anything that you can point to that is lacking with the Cleveland Browns, even with the offensive line. Have we not lamented at times how Baker Mayfield held on to the ball a little bit too long? How, he was sitting there and trying to make plays and ultimately was making boneheaded plays from time to time, or the requisite throws that you see a lot of guys with rifle arms being capable of making. He wasn't that guy capable of making. I'm simply saying he's not a scrub. He's a former #1 overall pick who, as far as I'm concerned, can play. He's got a lot of guts. I love listening to him in press conference. I think his honesty and candor should be applauded. I think the way he handled the Odell Beckham Jr. situation when Odell Beckham Jr.'s father put that video out about him, I thought he was completely in the right. I respect the hell out of Baker Mayfield. He's not a scrub. Right. But at the end of the day, when you look at teams and you say to a team, all of that talent surrounding these guys, I've said this before, what do you look at when you look at the Cleveland Browns? It comes back to Baker Mayfield. All of those questions that you throw out there, as legitimate as they are, because they are legitimate, it still brings us back to Baker Mayfield. Okay. He's not that guy when you're talking about competing for a Super Bowl. Not yet, anyway. He's not that guy. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.